Hi guys, Sci-Fi Recapped here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm gonna explain a 2004 Chinese action and fantasy movie called Kung Fu Hustle. The movie takes place in 1940 Shanghai, where local gangsters are beating up the police officers after they arrested the boss's beautiful wife just for spitting. No one dares to retaliate as he shouts at the police chief. They walk out of the building, but feel something strange as the cars on the street are missing. Suddenly, a horde of the notorious rival gang called Axe Gang surrounds them, while all local people shut all their doors and windows as they are afraid of the gang. They start shooting ruthlessly at the gangsters, leaving the gang boss alone. He attempts to run away, but one of the black-suited men throws an axe towards him, cutting off his leg. He begs for mercy, but the cold-blooded Axe Gang leader, Brother Singh, ignores him and begins to chop him repeatedly. After that, the Axe Gang orders the corrupt local officers to clean up the mess. To celebrate their victory against their rival, the gangsters start dancing awkwardly while keeps terrorizing the town with their signature weapon, an axe. The scene moves to the poorest district in the country, Pigsty Alley, where everyone lives peacefully as no gang is interested to rule over since the district cannot generate any profits. The place is owned by a landlord, who seems to be drunk all the time and loves to flirt with the people, and his grumpy wife, whose hobby is shouting at the tenants and smacking people. One of the residents runs out of the water while having a bath, but gets slapped in the face instead after complaining to the landlady. Meanwhile, the husband attempts to spy on girls in the bathroom, but gets caught and gets beaten up ruthlessly by the landlady. A few moments later, amateur crook Singh and his fat companion Bone visit Pigsty Alley and directly head over to the barbershop, hoping that they can blackmail someone there. They attempt to extort the handsome barber while pretending to be one of the Axe Gang members. However, their plan fails as he shows no fear at all and starts calling the other residents. Despite getting cornered, Singh challenges one of them to a duel. He realizes that he has chosen the wrong district when each resident has their own uniqueness. He even gets beaten up by an old lady. He then decides to escape, but the landlady appears and starts hitting him repeatedly. Feeling threatened, Singh tries to bluff. He throws a firecracker, claiming that he is calling back up. Unfortunately, the explosion hits the real Axe Gang underboss, who walks towards him with an army of black-suited gangsters. Singh provokes them, informing the underboss that one of the residents was the thrower. The fierce landlady realizes that she is in trouble and begins to flee back to her room. The handsome barber makes things worse when he shows up and somehow strikes the underboss with mysterious force, leaving him dying inside a barrel. The gang calls for the real backup, and suddenly the district is surrounded by the gangsters, who begin to terrorize the innocent residents. They drag a woman and his son, pouring them with gasoline and threatening to burn them alive. Brother Singh demands the killer of the underboss to surrender, but no one shows up. Just after he throws lighter, a man called Coolie appears, claiming that he is the culprit. Coolie then attacks the emerging gangsters with his high kick, knocking them out one by one. Soon after, a nerd tenant called Taylor shows up to help his friend. Their weapons are useless against the tenants as Donut shows up and destroys all the rifles with spears. Turns out that all of them are kung fu masters and the gangsters have no chance to defeat them. After a long and one-sided fight, all of them are defeated and the remaining gangsters attempt to retreat desperately. In the Axe Gang HQ, Singh and Bone are captured for causing the embarrassment. Brother Singh is furious, ordering his henchmen to eliminate them immediately. However, Singh manages to free himself before his face is slashed by thrown axes. The boss is impressed with his lockpicking skill and allows them to join the gang, but only after they successfully kill someone. Singh plans to kill one of the residents at Pigsty Alley to prove himself, but Bone questions his intention since all of them are masters at Kung Fu. He then flashbacks to his childhood when he bought a martial arts tutorial book called The Buddhist Palm from a peddler after being told that he was born with a special Kung Fu aura. After reading the manual thoroughly and practicing hard, he attempts to use the technique to save a mute girl from being bullied by older boys, but instead he gets beaten up and humiliated. Since then, he withdraws his intention to be a hero and chooses to be a bad guy. Not long after, they spot a lady selling ice cream. They pretend to buy ice cream, but later run away just after they receive the cones. The next day, these losers return to Pigsty Alley, where Singh tries to kill the landlady from a distance with a knife, but it backfires as the knife bounces back and stabs him instead. The landlady sees them and Bone attempts to throw the snake cage, but accidentally releasing the snakes, which kiss Bing in the lips. Singh runs away, but is chased by the landlady until somehow he manages to dodge her and escape safely. He hides in the traffic control pulpit for a while, where his wounds are rapidly healed and slowly starts releasing his inner Kung Fu aura, without him realizing that. On the other side, Brother Sum hires 2 cold-blooded assassins to take care of the fighters at Pigsty Alley. The harpists, who turn out to be blind, mention about the best assassin in the world called the Beast, who is now locked up in an asylum because of his obsession with Kung Fu. Later that night, Cooley decides to leave the district when he coincidentally comes across one of the harpist assassins. He ignores him and keeps walking as stuff around him starts to break. However, it is too late for him to react as the harpist manages to finish him off just with the sound waves. Meanwhile, the other assassin sneaks into Taylor's place and attacks him. Taylor, who plans to retire from fighting, is forced to fight back, which causes a mess. Outside the building, the other blind harpist has been waiting for him. He starts playing the instrument while unleashing sharp sound waves toward the old man. The assassin attacks him repeatedly until Donut shows to give assistance. He manages to block all the incoming attacks with his spears and is able to launch a counter-attack towards the assassins, but it doesn't last long as the harpists speed up on launching the deadly sound waves. The fighters eventually have their energy drained and the foes launch their final strike towards them, but the noises make the landlady angry and she uses his screaming technique, which disperses the sound wave and terrifies the assassins. The landlord also suddenly appears and starts playing around with his flexible body. He makes the harpists attack each other until they are overwhelmed. They grab the harp back and prepare to unleash their best attack, but the landlady casually shows up and shows her screaming ability, defeating the assassins in style. Unfortunately, Taylor and Donut die in the process and the whole district, including the landowners, mourn for them. The next day, Singh and Bone spot the same ice cream vendor. Singh threatens her and throws her to the ground, ordering her to give all her money to him, but the girl cries since she doesn't expect that she is robbed by the guy who once saved her life from the bullies. The mute girl shows the same lollipop from many years ago to him. Singh recognizes her, but doesn't feel remorse at all as he throws the lollipop away and leaves. Afterwards, the desperate Singh is suddenly taken away by black-suited gangsters. Brother Sum admits him as a gang member and gives him a job. He is then brought to a mental asylum where he is tasked to release the Beast, who is locked up in the safest cell of the building. He explores asylum and eventually arrives at an underground bunker. He utilizes his lock-picking skill to unlock the metal door and is very surprised when he finds out that the top killer is just a weak old man. The Beast is brought to the Axe Casino where no one believes in his capabilities, including the boss. To prove himself, he lets a gangster punch him ruthlessly. He even grabs a gun from the gangster and points it towards his own head. He pulls the trigger and somehow manages to catch the bullet effortlessly. At the same time, the Beast senses a worthy opponent's presence inside the casino and starts wreaking havoc, which terrified the whole casino players. Turns out that it is the landlord and the landlady, who pay a visit to eliminate the Axe Gang. The couple also bring a funeral bell as a gift for Brother Sum. The Beast challenges the couple and the fight between them begins. Even though it is a 2 versus 1 fight, it seems like the couple are struggling to beat the old man. The landlady uses his signature screaming ability, the lion's roar, but the Beast barely moves from his standing. Realizing that they cannot beat him with bare hands, the couple break the head of the giant bell and utilize it to generate enormous power on the roar. The screaming destroys the whole casino and effectively hurts the Beast. Surprisingly, the old man survives the attack, thus the couple begins to unleash the second roar, but he admits defeat. However, when the couple lower their guard, the Beast attacks them with sharp sticks and manages to stab them in the stomach. The fight continues and the three eventually are immobilized in an inter-joint lock. At this point, Singh is ordered by Brother Sum to break the stalemate. He grabs the wooden beam and initially hits him on the head as he is confused. After that, Singh stupidly hits the Beast instead of the couple. This action enraged the old man, who immediately breaks free and savagely punches Singh in the face. The landlord and landlady use this opportunity to escape, while also taking Singh with them as well. The wounded Brother Sum yells at the Beast, accusing him of letting the couple escape. Fed up, he ends the boss's life just with one arm swing. The couple bring Singh back to Pigsty Alley and immediately wrap him with bandages. They are confused how this man can withstand such damage and is still alive. They are also amazed with his recovery speed. Not long after, the Beast and other gangsters arrive at the district, which has been fully abandoned by its residents. Singh surprisingly shows up, with his body fully recovered as nothing happened. Turns out that the punches earlier have unlocked Singh's inner talent and now he has become a kung fu master. Several minutes ago, he was a loser, but now he manages to eliminate all the gangsters effortlessly. He kicks the black-suited men just as he is playing football. After all the gangsters are defeated, he confronts the Beast and launches a high kick, but the man still manages to withstand the kick and fights back. After exchanging some punches, Singh successfully knocks him down. Realizing that he is no match for him, the old man transforms himself into Frogman, the Toad style, and gains enormous power and speed. He strikes Singh with his bald head, sending him high into the sky. He continues to fly in the atmosphere until he slows down and sees a cloud forming as Buddha. As he charges down at a very high speed towards the old man, he uses the Buddha's palm ability to attack him. The force forms a huge palm on the ground while severely crushing the beast. As expected, he immediately surrenders and tries to attack Singh with a stick. But he sees that coming and unleashes another Buddha palm right beside him, damaging the whole building behind them. This time, the beast really admits defeat in tears for the first time. As the time goes by, Singh and Bone open up an ice cream store where Singh and the mute girl reunite. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.